creatine causes a little bit of weight gain, can it help with endurance athletes who normally like to perform as light as they possibly can because nobody wants to carry a lot of weight around? Well, the answer is it depends. So for some people, the weight gain that they get from creatine can be really, really low. So not everybody even gains weight from creatine. And in general, it's usually around half a kilo to up to 2 kilos max. So if you're not gaining a huge amount of creatine, you may be able to still benefit from the performance enhancing effects of creatine. And one major benefit of creatine for endurance events is something called thermoregulation. And we know that in hot conditions, like so somebody is doing an endurance race during the summer, taking creatine can actually help to reduce the strain that's on the body from all that extra heat. And that's because creatine helps us to store an extra little bit of water in our cells, which is why we gain a little bit of weight. If you're taking a pre-workout, do you also need to take creatine monohydrate? Well, it depends on a couple of things. First off, does your pre-workout have creatine? And if it does, how much does it have? Because we know for performance enhancing effects, we need a dose of about 3 to 5 grams of creatine per person, for the average person. Now, if your pre-workout has that much creatine, fantastic, you don't need any more. But what about the days that you don't take the pre-workout? Because I'm assuming you don't take it every day, you probably shouldn't. You will benefit from having a creatine supplement separately on those days just to maintain the creatine levels in your muscle. If you're taking creatine, whether you're loading it or taking a maintenance dose, do you need to drink extra water? Well, here's the thing. That comes from a really, really bad interpretation of science where people say that because creatine increases water retention in your tissues, that means you need to drink a load of extra water to compensate. That's not true, okay? Everybody is slightly different. Drink enough water. Everybody knows that hydrating is really, really important. And if you want to know how much you should be drinking, a really simple rule of thumb is to look at your pee. I know it sounds funny, but if you're peeing more or less a light straw color, your hydration is absolutely fine. If you're peeing clear, you're drinking way too much. And if you're peeing brown, go to the doctor, okay? Don't overcomplicate it, just drink water regularly. Should you be mixing your protein shake with milk or with water? Completely depends on your goals and how much calories you want to get in the day. It can also depend on your tastes. Some people just prefer shakes mixed with milk compared with water. Some people just want to use a little bit of water and get the shake down as quickly as possible. If you can afford the extra calories and you like the taste, mix it with milk. You don't need to. If you're really, really trying to reduce the amount of calories you're getting into your diet, mix it with water, okay? Again, if you like the taste. If you don't and prefer it with milk, mix with milk. It doesn't make a huge difference. It will be slightly more slowly absorbed if you mix it with milk. That's just because there's some casein in there as well, and that's a slower digested protein, but it's not going to make a huge difference in the long run, and especially in terms of your gains. Are creatine pills or creatine powder better for reducing bloating? Here's the thing. Creatine does not cause bloating. It's a really common misconception because people hear that creatine increases water retention, so that means that you're going to be bloated. That doesn't happen. There may be a small group of people that do experience bloating, but that's another story. The thing is, there's no difference between taking creatine pills or creatine powder. Both of them are going to have the exact same effect unless the pills are mixed with something else that may cause bloating. But both are going to have the same effect on your water storage. Some people store a little bit more, some people store a little bit less, but it's not necessarily going to cause bloating. Remember that.